Welcome, everyone. It is Monday night at 7 p.m. in Phoenix. I don't know what time it is where you all are, but that's what time it is here. We did have daylight savings time yesterday, so God only knows what time it is wherever you are all at. So welcome to Insights with Alicia, right? What are we doing? Every week, we gather to learn and connect. I often say things and people always want to know more about it, which is how this all started. So people really love the insight from the scientific psychic. And there are so many things that I've experienced and that have transformed my life that I love being able to share all of these insights to help everyone, not just my clients. We talk about relationships on here, our behavior, so many life skills and the tools to help you literally change your life with all of them. And let's not forget about the animals. Sometimes we talk about them too. For those of you who don't know, I am Alicia I, owner of Who Knew Healing, and I am an intuitive life coach, animal consultant and communicator, psychic medium, intuitive mentor, and I absolutely love that I get to provide healing opportunities and growth opportunities for people and animals. For those of you listening as a podcast, welcome. Always love having you. And if you'd like the video version, please visit my YouTube channel under Alicia I, or even better, for anyone, join me live on Monday nights. I would love to have you here. And for those of you watching on Facebook, I can't see your comments right now. So if you do want to comment, please join by the Zoom link. Okay. So one of the reasons that I love doing Insights with Alicia is because it gives us a place to start creating something new for your life. I get to shine the light on things and show a different perspective for you to be able to create change for yourself. And then you get to choose to continue to grow down your path and get to work with me individually to transform at a deeper level and usually a quicker pace. So one of the things, I'm so super excited. So before we delve into chatting tonight, I wanted to let everyone know that as a result of last week's episode where we needed to do a pivot because I had an interview scheduled and that got canceled. So we answered those questions out of the book called 3,000 Questions About Me. And we had so much fun, so much fun. I've received really great positive feedback about that. And so it has sparked something. And I'm thinking of starting a new event if there's enough interest. So you guys got to let me know if you want this. So my current thoughts are the event would be free, small, closed event, meaning that it won't be live streamed or recorded like tonight is. It would be done by Zoom. And I'm thinking probably like once a month, just a place to answer thought-provoking and goofy questions for fun and connection. All participation is voluntary. And trust me, this will not, I repeat, not have the feeling of going around in a circle and answer questions like an icebreaker when you go to group events. It will not be like that. My inner introvert wants to die in those kind of situations. I understand why everybody does it. I understand the purpose behind it. And, being on this side of like teaching events and classes and that sort of thing. And there's a little bit of me that dies each time I have to do it. I'm kidding, but that's what it feels like. So it will not have that feeling. It will be fun. And it will be a great place to connect and get to know each other and just learn some stuff. I always love learning about people. So if you are interested, please let me know and I will create it. So send me an email, DM, comment on Facebook, comment on the video. I don't know if you can comment on a podcast. I don't think you can, but reach out if that is something that you would be interested in, because we had a ton of fun. I'm not making that up. I promise. We had a blast. So let me know. And if you've got ideas or feedback, I'm open to it. This is something that I want to create for all of us. So share your info if you have it, and let me know if this is something that you want. As you can tell, I'm excited about it, but I don't want to be the only one there. I can sit and read the book at home, learn more questions about me. I want to learn about you. So I don't want to be the only one at the event. Okay. So welcome everyone. Super excited as always for Monday night. I just love connecting with all of you. Got my water. No sun tea yet in Arizona, although I could. It's been like 80 degrees the last 2 days, so I totally could be making sun tea. I know most of you, it's still snowing and cold and rainy where you are, so sorry about that. But it's been pretty warm here. Okay, so what we're going to talk about tonight is that people are always showing us what and who they are. I know there's a part of us that wants to fight against this. And I know there's a part of us that doesn't really understand that. So we're going to get into it tonight. So the truth is every word and action someone is saying or doing is a window into who they are, how they speak, what they say, how they treat people, how they treat themselves, etc., is all information that shows us who they are. And we're doing the same thing. We are always showing people who we are. So where do we get ourselves into trouble with that? It's when we don't pay attention to the information we're being given. When we fight against this information, when we try to prove ourselves, when we stick our head in the sand, like our friendly ostrich, and ignore the information we are being presented with. I'm sure nobody does that, right? Nobody's like, that's over there. I don't see it. I'm just going to look over this way. That's not a human coping behavior at all. Okay. So we're going to use dating as an example tonight because the dumpster fire that dating is in this world right now, like it blows my mind. I have clients and friends that are on the apps, right? And it's just, I don't judge it. It's not a match for me. That doesn't mean that someday I won't be on an app or whatever, but just the ridiculousness, that's not even the right word. Like I pause because I'm like, you see and hear things where you're like, what? What is happening? So we're going to use that as an example. And the things that I say tonight are all things I have heard people say. So if you think, oh, this isn't, people don't say those kind of things, people don't think those things, I promise you they do. It's very much a human behavior kind of thing. And I'm not making it up. It happens over and over and over, which is why I was inspired to talk about it tonight. So like I said, we're going to use dating. And the example I'm using tonight is written using a woman as a girlfriend in this situation. And this is all true. This is true for all human behavior, applies to any gender and any composition of a partnership. It just was easier to pick one category and be able to, carry the storyline through. But it is all inclusive. Trust me, this is a human behavior. And it shows up everywhere. Okay, so let's get started. Dating. Da-da-da. And here's the thing. If you're not dating right now, this information is still going to be valid. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm not dating. This isn't going to apply to me at all. I guarantee you it does, because you're going to start to go, oh, and this is what's happening. And you're going to pay attention to your friends and your family members and your coworkers and other people that you know. You're going to start. This is one of those things you can't unsee it once you see it. And you're going to start to be more conscious. You're going to start to see things, and you're going to start to pay attention to things in a different way. So just because the things I talk about tonight are dating, it's still going to be helpful. So the first example, if someone says, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship, and this is what you're looking for, believe them. They are not lying. I want you to believe them and move on. Because like I said, they're not lying, and they are telling you the truth right up front, directly to your face. So believe them. If someone says, I'm not emotionally available, believe them and move on. They're not lying. They are telling you the truth right up front. They are showing you who they are right there. There's no judgment in this, right? If you're looking for a casual relationship and this other person's looking for a casual, great. But if you're looking for long-term and someone says, I'm not, believe them. We're going to talk about what happens when we don't believe them. But this is the place of believe people. They're not lying. People, like, we think they are, but they're not. These are those moments where sort of like people think, there's lots of people that are walking around with a mask on, right? This is a behind the mask kind of thing. When someone tells you right up front something, it's the truth. So if someone says they're an asshole, believe them and move on. If someone says they don't want to get married or married again, believe them. And then start to pay attention to, if that's something that's really important to you, it may not be a match. If someone tells you they will hurt you, believe them and move on. If someone tells you they're narcissistic, please, for the love of God, believe them and move on. They are not lying. I promise you, they are not, particularly with that one. Because narcissists don't out themselves very often. So if someone's going, hey, I'm a narcissist, I'm going to hurt you, it's the truth. Okay. If you make plans with someone and they consistently cancel, they are showing you who they are and where you fit in their life, which is not at all or a very low priority. If someone says that they're going to do something and then they don't follow through repeatedly, things happen once in a while, but if this becomes a pattern where they're like, oh, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to get this done, or I'm going to do that for you, and it falls through, they don't do it, they don't follow through, they're showing you exactly who they are. This one personally is a really big one for me. After my marriage, I have a very, very low threshold for people who do not follow through on their words. If someone's action doesn't match their words, it is a really big flag, red flag for me in any part of my life, not even romantic, like anywhere. So what happens is that instead of believing them and receiving the information they're giving us, we get triggered and our dysfunctional coping mechanisms kick in. What? Yes, that's what happens. It's okay. We've all been there. So this is what fascinates me, is what is this desire that humans have to prove the other person wrong? Underneath is the need to prove ourselves, but we're going to get to that in a minute. So when someone says, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship, and we think, now remember, these are things I've actually heard people say. They're not looking for a long-term relationship, and we think, oh, but he's not talking about with me. I'm the girlfriend that he's really looking for. All I need to do is show him that. All I need to do is show him he's wrong and how amazing I am. I get it. We all want to be loved. Like I said, there's no judgment in this, especially when we really like someone. We want them to like us too, right? Like that's the whole point of this. And if they don't, or if they're not in the same place as us, we fall into the beliefs of, this is the only person for us. I will never feel like this again. If they only knew how wonderful I was. Then, this is where one of the ways we get ourselves into trouble. We then do all the actions of being in a relationship, all of the behaviors, and of being a girlfriend, from this place of trying to make something work, trying to prove ourselves to this person, even though they said they don't want to be in a relationship. And then however many months down the road, when he shows us by his actions that we're not in a relationship and that we're not his girlfriend, we get upset and we want to blame him. Like I said, this is using the women as the example, but it is all genders and any makeup of a relationship. And we fall into this place of, like I said, acting like the girlfriend, right? Being the girlfriend, because there's a very big difference. I don't know if you all know this, but there is. I hope you know. If not, tonight you'll learn. And this goes for boyfriends too, and like I said, any of the categories. But there is a certain part of people that you get when you've decided to be in an exclusive relationship, right? Like my friends don't get the girlfriend part of me. And someone that I'm dating, if we're not to that place of having an exclusive relationship, they don't get the full-blown, right, exclusive or girlfriend experience, because it's time, right? It's evidence over time, it's connection over time, it's trust over time. But what happens is when we override this part here, we go full-blown into being the best girlfriend ever and giving someone who not only said up front that's not what they wanted, but someone who doesn't deserve them, not from a judgmental place, but just because we're not a match, doesn't deserve all that time, attention, and effort that we're giving them. Does that make sense? So it's this place of like, from this need to prove, we just bypass everything and we go right into this full girlfriend experience with someone who hasn't earned it, and not from a trading place of earning. I'm talking about earned it from a mutuality place. So when this happens, right, they told us right up front, I'm not looking for a long-term relationship. The results are not on them when it doesn't go our way. This was all our own doing. Like I was saying, it's our own choices, our actions. And now the outcome of those choices and actions. So if someone says they're emotionally unavailable and we think, oh, but I have this amazing connection with them, that does not mean they're emotionally available. It means that once in a while, they show up and have a brief window of emotional availability, and then they shut back down. And now the other person stays in the chase of trying to get to that place of emotional availability again and again and again, trying to get that hit of attention and connection. Now, usually this is a trading situation, and trauma bonding is actually what's happening, which is why it feels so intense and addicting. It's the drama of the chase, the winning, and the proving that we're feeling. Like I said, there's no judgment here. It's a really good feeling, and it can keep us stuck in something that's not a match for us, especially if in reality what we want is consistent mutual connection, not the roller coaster and not the back and forth. And so there was something else I wanted to say about emotional availability. What was it? It just popped in as I was talking. Nope, it's gone now. Okay. Maybe it'll pop back around. Okay. So now, as I was saying, underneath all of this is our behaviors and our beliefs of the needing to prove ourselves. And we do this in so many ways. And it really comes from our deepest desire for someone outside of ourselves to tell us that we're enough, to feel unconditionally loved by someone else so that that black hole in our chest will go away. Because at some point in our lives, usually early on, for whatever reason, we didn't feel loved. And at that moment, when we didn't feel loved, the human part of us kicked in to high gear and said, I will prove I'm worthy of your love. I will prove I'm worthy of your time and attention. And off we went, unconsciously creating a life from a place of need and pain. This is how people pleasers are created. You know, I talk about me being a recovering people pleaser all the time. This is how codependency is created. This is how addiction can begin. This is how disassociation begins, and how low self-esteem is created, and so many more things. So what proving ourselves can look like, in addition to the examples that we've already chatted about, is someone you're interested in doesn't reciprocate the feelings. Instead of pausing and processing the situation and your feelings, we reflexively tap on the door of that black hole in our chest, and it triggers a need to prove. Somehow we decide this is a challenge. And who doesn't like to win? I'm super competitive, right? So when I talk about this stuff, it's because I've done it. And now I don't do it anymore. And I get to show people and teach people, like, let's circumvent this. Like, here's what's going to happen. Do you want to do that? No. So let's do it differently. Someone gets to benefit from all of my experiences, right? So this need to prove, like I said, overrides all logical and intuitive thinking. We stop paying attention to the words they're saying and the actions they are showing us. Like that filter goes on. We go into the full-blown girlfriend experience of like, I'm going to be the best girlfriend ever, and proving and overextending ourselves and just beyond and beyond, and all of these adaptive or maladaptive behaviors that no longer serve us. So what does that start to look like? We start making excuses for them. We stop respecting our boundaries. We stop paying attention to the standards that we have set for ourselves. If someone says, I don't want to be exclusive, we think, oh, they didn't really mean that. Like, they didn't really mean it that way. They didn't mean it with me. They're just really busy. We fall into all of these behavioral gymnastics. And the truth is, it's all about us, our need to prove, our wounds, our ego about I can convince or change their mind. We have thoughts like, he just doesn't know what he wants. I will show him what he wants. I will show him what an amazing girlfriend I can be. And truthfully, did he say that he doesn't know what he wants? No. He said very clearly what it was that he wanted. He didn't want to be exclusive. And then we fall into the assuming and the proving. And it's all about our ego and pain. It has nothing to do with them. And this is where we get to stop making excuses for people from our own codependency, insecurity, and low self-worth. And like I said, there's absolutely no judgment here. We have all been in this place. And like I said, I hear this stuff all of the time. I see people in this pattern of behavior. I I hear them and see them, when I'm out at group events or in my Facebook groups where people are saying these statements that I'm saying to you, like, I'm not making these up. These are being said every day in our world right now, because the truth is people want connection. People want love, and we want it to be with someone who's a match. And sometimes people are just so traumatized from their past, and there's a desperation in our world right now of needing connection, right? Which understandable considering what the world has been through in the last few years, that it has this feeling of this is all that there is, right? It's that desperation kind of feeling. And so we override. And if we don't want to do that anymore, if we catch ourselves saying these things or making excuses for people for whatever reason, this is where we get to start to make the shift. This is where our eyes open up. This is where we get to do the internal work and look at why we feel the need to prove ourselves, why we're not listening to what people are directly telling us and showing us with their behaviors. And I get, and you guys know, I have this class that I used to teach, and at some point will again, I want to turn it into a course because that's how much it's grown. And it's called potentiality. And what potentiality is the ability to see the potential in someone. We all have that. That's not a psychic thing, but we get stuck in that loop. And I lived in this loop for years and years and years, which is where this class and concept came from my very own life, which is why I can teach people how to shift out of it. But we get stuck in that loop of, oh, but I see the potential that they have. I see if I do this and if I do that, and if I show them, if I prove to them, then they'll change and be that person that I can see that they're going to be. That's not how it works. Believe me, I wish it was, but that is not how it works. We cannot choose things for other people. We cannot help people beyond the extent that they're willing to receive help. That is one of the hardest things for me. And one of the hardest things I learned, when I started to go into this, it was like, I could see all this stuff and I'm like, oh, but they're not at a place to be able to receive that. We can't help people until they decide they want help for themselves, even if we see the potential that they have. And this is sometimes where we get stuck in that. We go, oh, he didn't really mean it because I can see the potential that he has. I can see that, he has the potential to be the most fabulous boyfriend. Of course he does, but he's got to choose it. And if he's not choosing it, it's not someone else's job to convince them, to change them, to prove to them that what they're choosing isn't the best for them. Because in that moment it is, even if we can see that it doesn't make them happy. So I know that's a little bit of an offshoot, but that is part of what's going on in here behind the scenes. So like I said, when we start paying attention to why we're doing these things, why we're not listening, that's when the transformation starts to begin. We become more confident. The angst disappears. We know what we want in life. We know who we are, and the need to prove melts away. Because the truth is when we're functioning from the need to prove ourselves, to make us happy, to make us feel loved, to make us anything, we will always be chasing. We will not have inner peace and calm. I've been there. Sucks. I don't recommend it. 0 stars. We will continue to create unconsciously and wonder why the things we truly desire don't show up. And then down another rabbit hole we go. Remember, and this is true, I promise you, this is true. For anything, love, friends, a job, etc., if they say you're not a match for them, then they're not a match for you either. You are not missing anything. Because if someone says you're not a match for me, how could they possibly be a match for you? It's just not how it works. So you're not missing out. And there's that FOMO, right? That gets us, and all those beliefs that are tied into that sort of thing. But I promise you, this is true. If someone says you're not a match for me, they're not a match for you either. And we can get to the place of going, okay, and be done. This need to prove can shift and change. I've done it myself, and I've done it with my clients. And it's so amazing because it really just offers you so much freedom and peace with yourself. And there's no judgment in it. There's nothing, there's lots of people that aren't a match, whether it's romantic, friends, a job, like I said, any of this stuff. We're like, oh, we're just not a match. Neither person is wrong. Neither person needs to be judged. Neither person needs to be proven why you're not a match. It's like, no, we're just not. And we get to move on. We're like, yeah, cool. See you around. Peace out. You feel how much lighter that is? So as you can tell from how passionate I get about this, shifting the need to prove ourselves is one of the transformations I love to teach and support people through. So if you do recognize yourself in any of these scenarios, and if this is something that could move you forward on your journey, then please reach out. I'd love to apply for the job to be your guide. So I hope that this made sense to you. I hope that it provides some insight, and I hope that it was helpful. That is everything that we have for tonight. We're already almost out of time. So I hope you enjoyed yourself. I have a weird hair. See it? Static electricity. I had a great time. As always, you guys know this is one of my absolute favorite things to do, is to connect with you all on Monday nights. Join me again next Monday. And if there are people you want to share this with, the video will be uploaded tonight on YouTube under Alicia Sweezer. Do the things, the subscribe and the like and the comments, and share it with people, because if anyone out there is dating, this is going on. Share it with your friends so that they can see that something else is possible. Thank you to everyone who listens as a podcast. And thank you to everyone who donated to my Cosmic Tip Jar. It allows me to create more free things like this that I can give to people. Anyone feels led to do so. There's multiple links in all of the event info, wherever you see it. Meetup, Facebook, website. Okay, everyone, that is all that we have for tonight. Before I go, I want to say two things. So one, if you're interested in that event that I was talking about, like where we're going to connect and answer random questions out of this book, please let me know, reach out, and I will create it. And also, so tune in the next, I think 3 weeks. I'm still in the writing process of it, but I think it's going to be 3 weeks. I got a 3-week series coming up on Monday night, right? It's like a big chunk. So I'm going to be talking about the clairs. What are the clairs? The clairs are how we receive our intuitive information. So these are the 6 main ones. There's probably others. These are the 6 that we're going to talk about. So clairvoyant, which is seeing; clairaudient, which is hearing; claircognizant, which is knowing; clairsentient, which is feeling; clairalience, which is the smelling; and clairgustance, which is the tasting. I've had to, some of these I don't have, so I had to do some research. The smell one, and shocking enough, the taste one, I didn't think I had it all, but now that I've done some research, I have that one. So my big 4 are the knowing, seeing, feeling, and hearing. And those are the 4 big that you'll hear most people talk about. But we are going to talk about those for the next 3 weeks. I think, like I said, I'm going to pick 2 each night. We're going to talk about what they are. I'm going to talk about what it looks like if you have that. Like, so I'm going to give you examples of, like, if you do this and then you might be clairaudient. So it's going to be super, super fun. You guys know I love all my intuitive things. And it should be about the next 3 weeks. So make sure you tune in to find out which one you resonate with. And a lot of people have, like I said, I apparently have 5 out of the 6. I had no idea about the taste. I'm still fascinated that the taste thing. So we'll talk about that. It's going to be lots of fun. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. As you can tell, the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about the clairs. So make sure you tune in. I don't know which order they're going to go in. That will be universe driven. But as soon as I am given that information, I will post it in the event info. So pay attention, keep your eyes peeled, your ears peeled, that sort of thing. All right, everyone. I love connecting with you all. I hope you have a fabulous week. I hope wherever you are, it warms up. Here, it's actually supposed to cool off a little bit, only be in the 70s, right? I might actually have to put my flannels back on because I so don't like the cold. But we shall see. All right, everyone. I will see you next Monday. Have a fabulous week. Thanks so much. Bye.